a kingdom of light and shadow, where one princess loved deeply and the other craved power, a choice would shape their world forever. Once upon a time, in the beautiful kingdom of Astraea, there were twin princesses, Alara and Elenor. Though they were twins, they were as different as night and day. Alara was kind, gentle, and always thought of others. She loved the people of Astraea dearly. She would walk through the village with a warm smile, bringing food, sharing stories, and comforting those in need. To the villagers, she was a ray of sunshine. But Elenor was not like Alara. Elenor was cold and proud. She wanted power, and she believed that kindness was weak. She wanted the kingdom to fear her, to see her as the strongest ruler Astraea had ever known. She spent hours in training, sharpening her skills with the sword, her heart hardening with every passing day. As she watched Alara being loved by the villagers, a dark feeling grew within her. It was jealousy, bitter and deep, and it made her heart colder. One day, Elenor found something in the castle that would change her forever. She discovered a dark amulet hidden deep in the shadows of an old, dusty chamber. It glowed with a strange, eerie light. She could feel its power calling to her, as if it was alive. She picked it up, and instantly a powerful darkness filled her. She felt stronger than ever before, but she also felt her heart grow colder and her mind turn darker. The amulet made her feel powerful and fearless, but it also made her cruel. The very next day, Elenor walked through the village, her face proud and her eyes icy. When a young boy accidentally brushed against her cloak, she glared at him and commanded him to kneel. The boy, trembling with fear, obeyed. She looked down at him, her voice harsh, and told him never to touch her again. The villagers watched, horrified, as she raised her hand and cast a shadow over the boy, making him shiver with cold. As days passed, Eleanor's cruelty only grew. She ordered higher taxes, forcing the poor villagers to pay more, even when they could barely afford food. She demanded their livestock as payment, leaving families hungry and desperate. When one man begged her to spare his only cow, she laughed coldly and took it anyway, leaving his children to cry in hunger. Elenor would roam the village, searching for any sign of weakness, anyone she could punish. She set strict rules that no one could gather without her permission. She wanted control, and she would crush anyone who dared to stand in her way. When two sisters were caught trading bread secretly, Elenor ordered them to be locked in a dark cellar for days. She said it was to teach them a lesson, but it was only to show her power. The villagers soon feared her greatly. Mothers would hide their children when Elenor was near, and fathers would lower their heads, hoping she wouldn't notice them. The once lively village grew quiet, and the people lost their smiles. They whispered of their kind Princess Alara, who still visited them, bringing small gifts and words of comfort. But they also knew that Alara was growing worried, her heart breaking as her sister's darkness spread across Astraea. One night, Alara could bear it no longer. She followed Elenor into the forest where her sister stood, the dark amulet glowing against her chest, her face cold and proud. "Elenor," Alara called softly, "this isn't who you are. I know the sister I love is still in there. Please come back." Elenor looked at her, her eyes empty of warmth. "Kindness is weakness, Alara," she said. "You don't understand what it takes to be strong. Only power can rule Astraea." Alara felt her heart breaking, but she did not back down. "Elenor, true strength doesn't come from hurting others, comes from love and unity. Together, we can be strong without crushing the people." But Elenor only laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. The amulet around her neck pulsed, filling her with its dark energy, and her voice grew cold. "You will never understand, Alara. I don't need love, I need control." Alara could see the struggle in her sister's eyes, a hint of pain hidden beneath the darkness. She reached out, gently touching the amulet. The moment her fingers brushed it, the amulet shook, and a strange light flashed between them. Elenor felt a sharp pain and pulled back, realizing that the amulet's power was a heavy burden, one she could barely control anymore. "Elenor, this is tearing you apart," Alara said softly, her voice full of sadness. "This amulet is not making you strong. It is making you empty. Elenor looked down, her heart twisting in confusion and regret. She glanced at Alara, and for the first time in a long time, her face softened. She reached up, grasping the amulet, feeling its dark magic fighting against her. With one final surge of strength, she ripped it from her neck and threw it to the ground. The amulet shattered in a burst of light and dark mist, filling the air with a strange silence. As the mist faded, Elenor sank to her knees, weak but free. Alara rushed to her, wrapping her arms around her sister, tears filling both their eyes. "I'm sorry, Alara," Elenor whispered, her voice breaking. "I wanted to be strong, but I let the darkness take over." Alara held her close, forgiving her without a word. Together they rose, their hearts united as one. The next day they returned to the kingdom hand in hand. The villagers watched in wonder as Alara and Elenor, side by side, shared a quiet smile. Elenor stood before the people, her voice full of regret as she spoke of her mistakes, promising to lead with her sister by her side, not through fear but through kindness. From that day on, Alara and Elenor ruled together, each balancing the other. They became a symbol of light and dark in harmony, a lesson to the kingdom of Astraea that true strength lay not just in power, but in the courage to love and forgive. And so, the story of the Princess Bond became a legend in Astraea, a reminder that even the greatest power is empty without a heart to guide it.